tour.
Yes.
It's already off to a great start. In BDSA, though, and Solary, there's two distinct play. What?
No shot.
Zeri made it through the draft phase!
No shot.
Hello?
We're really letting it through again.
Bro. Oh, no.
Wow. Well,
Hmm.
okay, we're going to see the Zeri Alistar was actually the very same bot lane we saw in the first game of the day. And, well, it was pretty good, to say the least here. I mean, at least the Sylas pick would actually potentially make sense here. Being able to steal that Unbreakable Will is good, but I don't think you want to pick it too early. So the thing Solary have going for them, they have the Jinx for Azza, so they do have their own hyper carry into the later parts of the game. You just need to be able to continuously lock down the Zeri if you're going to be able to actually come out on top of these team fights. So I gotta imagine we're gonna see something like a really standard draft at this point from Solary. Probably see them ban away some of the carry tops. We see Jace, maybe Camille or something too, just because I think they need to go for something tanky, something like the Ornn, so that they can protect and soak up damage there for Azza on this 80 carry. It's gonna have to all be bot focused for Solary this game.
I mean, they have to. Unfortunately, this is a team that, you know, when we look at the stats, the kill participation, while it's not that low for Azza, Steelback is the one that is centered around a lot of the kills, and a lot of times we've seen Steelback sometimes roams a lot and tries to just get done on the map, right? I mean, he is trying to say, yo, Scarlet, let's I'm gonna hold your hand, I'm gonna help kill this guy for you, I'm gonna snowball you. Yo, Joker, you wanna invade? Let's go, you know, let's go take some camps. Keo, you playing a split pusher? I got you, buddy. I'm gonna set you up for success. But I feel like you're definitely right in the fact that Solary, they cannot be passive and letting Asa be by himself in this game, because if we saw how much priority the side of Mistress Premier had in game 1 of our day with this Zeri and Alistar combo, then they're going to be either diving Asa under the tower, or they're going to be inflicting pain on the rest of the map through the bottom half.
That's the thing that is going to be tough. There's a lot of dive potential for BDSA on this bottom side of the map in that early game, like you're saying. So early game for Azza is going to be tough. I think in this league, compared to other 80 carries, has been struggling a little bit. So he may have to play that weak side a little bit. We do see the Gragas in the top lane blinded there for Keo, which I love. We were talking about this champion a lot yesterday. So strong blinded in the top lane, and you're going to give Scarlet that counter pick in the mid lane matchup here. We talked about the Corki nerfs and why Victor may rise up in priority as a result, and obviously BDSA agree. They're going to put that for Shiko in the mid lane here, and it's going to matter now what Scarlet is going to end up playing in the mid lane. Xerath probably isn't the move here this time, just because you do have a lot of threat here from Shio on this Lee Sin, but it could still be something that, oh yeah, it was already banned too. And I like that Vygar ban as well, because we're talking about locking down the Zeri. Being able to prevent some of these options to go through makes a lot of sense. So it's just going to end up being the Corki. A lot of poke, a lot of range damage here for Solary as they round out their composition.
A little bit of standard for Scarlet, no exciting flavors, as BDSA didn't want to see any of that. No Xerath, no Kassadin.
And here we go, we're in the game. I got baited.
Bam.
Damn. We speed ran the video.
I like this. Hey, so Shiko is dipping into the Ghost tech. This is something that I've been kind of waiting to see if mid laners will start to catch on to, because Ghost, such a low cooldown, you get to reset and extend the duration of it if you pick up kills or assists in fights and skirmishes. And with the area as well, it's a little bit more about poke just to control the laning phase a bit, not necessarily first strike. But this should give Shiko a lot of room to dip in and out of the upcoming fights that we'll see towards the mid game.
Yeah, it's interesting too. If Shiko finds angles to move, shove, and roam to other lanes, the Ghost definitely opens up opportunities for gank angles you don't necessarily expect, just because teleport has been the standard for a really long time. So
yeah.
The game is definitely being changed up here. As we see, we have opposite clears coming through. What we wanted from Joko is happening inside of Solary. He's going to be starting top, moving towards the bottom side of the map, and that's good because you have a lot of CC lockdown. Steal back on this Leona, and it's a good way to be able to try and shut down Crown Shot early. Of course, he has to go the cleanse out of respect, and Joko using that early pressure on the Xin to set Crown Shot behind has to happen here, because even though Jinx scales really well, we keep talking about it, it's for a reason. Zeri's really good. Don't let her out of this early game.
The other thing that's interesting is Shio is actually going from a clear bot to top, more than likely looking at a full clear for Lee Sin. So he won't be playing towards Crown Shot and Ardote in the first 3 minutes of the game. This will leave them somewhat isolated, and if this wave from Asa and Steelback is able to crash, if they pair that up with Joko, who has already cleared up 3 camps, he's already making his way towards the bottom side of the map, they're going to look for an early dive.
They very well could. A really nicely placed ward by Ardote will spot him out. They know he is in the tri-brush, but can they actually do something about it? The wave clear isn't there.
Ardote, watch for how he uses the Pulverize to try and disengage. Prevent Steelback from getting on top, but Joko flashing forward. This is how you deal with a Zuri in the early game. Solary take first blood.
Oh, it couldn't be any cleaner than that, Mark. You wait. They're buying time. They're saying, Ardote, I know you got that Pulverize. When are we going in? When are you going to drop it? And as soon as it comes through, they pull the trigger. They know that they can get on top of Crown Shot. And what does that mean? No summoners for the Zeri, who's level 2. Lost a nice chunk of gold and XP as a result of it. So excellent early gameplay coming through from Solary. This is what had to happen in this particular matchup. And because Shio doesn't necessarily have an angle in the top lane, since no hard CC between top and jungle means you can't really reliably dive Gragas, all Shio's going to be able to do is take some of these Krugs here. And ultimately it is paltry compared to what Solary have gotten for themselves.
Now first blood exchanged for, I guess, a 3 camp advantage, 2 camp advantage, since Joko is evening up on the bottom side of the map. So this allows Shio to hit level 6 somewhat faster than Joko. And so Dragon's Rage will be very useful in forcing ganks, because anytime an opponent is stepped up too far forward without flash, or if they're just stepped up too far forward, you can easily commit your flash and just look to burn summoner spells or get a kill. But you have to do it super quickly, because BDS same already a little bit of an early advantage towards Solary. That's them tier 2 boots on Asa. So not only has extra mobility, but also more attack speed.
Already a great start for the bottom lane of Solary, and Asa, a player who we were worried about, is doing just fine so far in these early minutes here. So they're doing their best on the side of BDSA to track Joko. They do know that he's going to be going for his Gromp reset here, and because of this bottom lane vision in and out of the river, does mean it's going to be a little harder for Joko to get the drop on BDSA's bot lane. That's why we're seeing the pings come through, and the fact that Crown Shot and Ardote have priority means they could actually clear this next wave and move in to the jungle for the invade if they want to, but it's looking like that isn't the option. Shio is just going to clear his Raptors.
Shio already cleared out his full bottom side jungle, but this time instead of crossing over into the top side of the map, he's waiting for Scarlet to face check. Land Sonic Wave gets some damage down. Not quite the kill, but they burn the flash, which is crucial now for buying priority. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Ardote has found Steelback and Joko. But now they can turn it around. They know that Joko doesn't have flash from before. Crown Shot looking for a little bit more burst fire damage. Doesn't quite take him down, but forcing him away from the dragon.
And I like that willingness to pull the trigger, though, from Solary. The activity is nice. It is going to cost them Dragon #1 because their jungler does end up getting chunked out, but I don't think that is too big of a deal so far. The game is now slowed down a lot more to a point, which I think will somewhat favor BDSA, just because, again, Crown Shot is catching up now, and Farm is still probably a little bit behind in XP, but we want to see more of Joko trying to set up some of these plays here. Could go top as well, because Aggressivu did commit that Gnar ultimate.
He's also in mini Gnar form, would not be able to fight back, but he's already shoved in the wave, he's backing off. Keo also getting a reset in as well, so Aggressivu is going to, more than likely, be able to get one more shove in. Keo can also teleport back to lane if he chooses it's the right call. And so now both teleports having been expended from top laners, we won't see any crazy shenanigans for the next couple of minutes until Rift Herald.
And by that time, you talked about level 6 for the junglers, and although Shio will probably get it first, Joko is not too far behind him. It does mean we're going to get these ultimates come through. More playmaking will be available to BDSA just because of that Dragon's Rage, but Joko will also have that Crescent Guard here. And we talk about that combination of jungle and support here for Solary. Joko and Steelback been playing together for so many years, and you can see it, the coordination with how well these guys sync up. And that's another thing we're expecting here in this game too, just because of the CC lockdown and the early game power of this Xin Zhao. You can very much fight for this Herald if you so choose, especially because that package will be available, because I believe it does spawn at 8 minutes.
Erdote already helping Chico push out the mid lane. I'd assumed that maybe they would go for the Rift Herald immediately on spawn, but because of the vision line from Solary, they have it completely shrouded in darkness for BDSA. Erdote makes his appearance back onto the bottom side of the map, and Shio dipping into Fog of War thanks to the control ward spotted out. Joko is here for a counter gank in case they go for the extended play. Steelback still has flash. Erdote delayed pulverize and headbutt combo, but now forced to pop the unbreakable because they see Joko. And Asa is level 6. Super Mega Death Rocket could have killed Erdote had he not popped the damage reduction. And that's one easy ultimate burn for pretty much nothing from the side of Solary.
Oh, Scarlet's in trouble, but I think he's going to be able to walk. Yeah, he's going to walk away from this one. And I love, that was a really good read coming through from Joko, because it makes sense. Like you said, the vision wasn't there for BDSA to start the Herald. So instead, oh wait a second.
And he knows that Scarlet doesn't have flash from before, so Shio closes the distance for an easy Dragon's Rage into Resonating Strike combo.
And there you go. They go for the play, and even though Joko reads it, Shio is able to find the mid lane gank instead. That's going to guarantee that Rift Herald. And the way that BDSA have managed to find themselves back into this game here, they do have a slight gold lead, whereas they were a little behind before. It does mean that they're going to be able to get more gold these turret plays that they are going to be able to access with the Rift Herald. The question is just going to be, where do you want to drop it here? You could still go mid, because you've had a good amount of pressure there thus far with Chico playing this Victor and how he's usually getting the better of Scarlet in these trades. You could go bot if you want to, because we've been seeing Shio put a lot of attention there as well, and with the Zeri trying to set Jinx behind, I think is one of your best courses of action as well.
This team, BDSA, has been known to play for bot lane kingdom. The early first blood from Solary stunted that momentum a little bit, but they have recovered nicely. And even though there is a CS advantage for Asa, it is not completely the end of the world for Crown Shot. He's been able to still farm up somewhat successfully. Hasn't hit Trinity Force quite yet, but making his way closely. And for BDSA, you look at other parts of the map. We already talked about that Gragas will still be useful, no matter how far behind he is. That is still a sizable CS difference for Aggressivu on the Gnar.
It is, and we're once again seeing another hull breaker rush here. Whereas it's going to mean that the 1v1 potential here from this Gnar is going to be very difficult to deal with. And I think it is better in this scenario compared to the Mundo we're seeing last game for Bad Lulu, just because of the... no flame, I'm just saying, because the fact that Aggressivu is going to have an easier time in these 1v1 situations. Like, you're going to be able to pressure Kyo in isolation. You're going to be able to pressure Scarlet in isolation. Like, you can see that damage coming through, how easily he chunks into half. So later on into the side lane, it really only gets worse for the laners of Solary, and as long as Aggressivu manages that Gnar bar well and uses the teleport, he's still going to be able to show up for these fights, be that big engaged CC that they are looking for alongside Erdote. The plan there is very clear. Scarlet holding on to the package. I think he knows something's up.
Fires one rocket, it explodes on contact. Shouldn't happen, unless someone is waiting in the bush. That Scarlet, fool me once, shame on you. It won't be fooled twice. However, Shio waiting in this bush, and in the way that Solary able to poke it out and forcing Shio to show himself on vision. Solary will have slight numbers advantage here with their marksman, but Crown Shot is getting the push in. BDSA, if Shio were to steal this away, this would be rubbing salt in the wound, but Solary do a good job of securing it for themselves. one dragon apiece for both teams. It's going to be an Ocean Soul game, and both teams are 3 away.
One of the most coveted souls, and oh my goodness, Aggressivu is being very aggressive into this matchup. And that Ocean Soul, big thing to play for here, highly coveted. So that healing is going to be so nice later into the game, especially because both of these teams are looking for these more extended team fights here. So that extra healing over time will be a difference maker. And you talk about the gold lead top lane, Mark, it just keeps growing. Now we're above 40 CS up. Aggressivu's gotten 4 turret plates solo. So this lead, like I was saying, he's going to be a problem later on into the side lane. The question is just going to be, will Solary be able to find an angle in the 4v4? Because I think it's going to be much like the situation we saw last game. It's going to be about how you have this threat in the side lane. As long as you have someone who can somewhat neutralize it, can you win things out in the 4v4? With all the CC Solary have, it's very, very possible here between Xin and this Leona.
Rift Herald will be popped. Not going to take down the turret. Oh, wow. Aggressive. Steal back. Solar Flare. Forces Shiko to flash immediately. That's something that Solary can play for in the next 4 or 5 minutes. The next time you find Victor a little overextended and Solar Flare is available, knock him down for an easy kill setup.
That's the thing I like about Ghost too on the Victor, or just mid laners in general, because it is a potential way for you to save yourself if you are at risk of being caught out. So maybe Shiko will be able to escape, maybe not, because of course Steelback has the flash, and if he gets on top of him, well, Ghost isn't going to really do anything for you here. So we'll see how well Shiko has to play these next couple of fights soon, because there's nothing really to play for at the moment here. The second Rift Herald should be coming up. But with this top lane pretty much fully in control of BDSA, just because of how strong Aggressivu has been, that's not something Solary are going to be able to go for here. So it's going to be more about playing towards this bottom side here. We talked about it. This is something more that we expected from BDSA, but we haven't been seeing a lot of it. It's been Solary who've been playing for their AD carry Asa.
Shio goes on aggressive on the Joko. Knows that he should have numbers advantage from Erdote coming in first.
Oh,
and
nice hit.
Dragon's Rage connects on the Joko. Last bit of damage, Sonic Wave connects, forcing the flash, but it's a flash follow-up from Erdote with the cow punch. Does he go for it? Flash under the tower from Scarlet,
nice
tries to get away. Shio has to use the ward hop, does he get out? And thanks to Erdote, who's the first one to step up, is the tanking the tower, thanks to the unbreakable damage reduction.
Really nice catch out there from Shio. Knows he has the teammates, and he knows that he's able to make it happen. So any more extra gold in your pocket means you can continue to threaten the mid lane here. And oh, speaking of threaten Aggressivu, he knows that Kyo, this is an illegal move, buddy. You can't be under this tower anymore. And this is just getting brutal here for Kyo in the top lane. This Gnar is fed out of his mind. He actually gets the first turret there for himself. I'm too scared to ask what the gold lead is.
Wonder if we can see the goal difference between Gnar and Gragas at this point. Because Aggressivu, you know what? One thing to note from BDSA, because they had the Rift Herald, there was definitely an opportunity for, if you wanted to just secure first break right away, plop it into Gnar's lane. But he had already done so much of the work by himself, and Solary had not shown any incentive to salvage Kyo out of that lane or stop the bleeding, because Kyo hasn't been solo killed. He hasn't given up a death, but this CS lead has been slowly growing and growing and growing and growing, and now what used to be a 20 CS lead is now a 60 CS lead. And now it's a huge problem where, yes, Kyo's still going to be useful because he's Gragas and he's a tank, but now this Gnar is going to be a huge split push problem. And if Solary are getting routed off like this in the jungle, how are they going to find fights?
They simply can't. BDSA, and the point I wanted to get to too, before that ended up happening, was just how in the 4v4, because we talk about the gold lead here for BDSA and the fact that they're up about almost 3,000 here, we have to be honest, a lot of it is on Aggressivu. So in terms of the 4v4, things are very even in how things can go back and forth. Yeah, look at that, 2,400 gold, like that is ridiculous as we get into a pause here. But that's a really nice catch out there from BDSA, who've been constantly on the aggressive and constantly making these plays happen off of Erdote on this Alistar, and because of that, the 4v4 doesn't even get to happen. It's these 3v2s, 4v2s, sometimes 4v1s.
This Gnar also has a Sheen that he's building towards, so this tells me that a Trinity Force is coming online soon, and I know that our colleague Joshi is crying tears of joy because he has seen so many times that sometimes you'll see a Divine Sunderer instead, and technically it still could be a Divine Sunderer. I hope it's not.
I doubt it.
Yeah, he bought the Hearthbone axe!
Yeah,
Yes!
there you go, see?
It's Trinity Force, it's the Chad option. Let's go. Aggressivu will have so much pressure now on the Gragas. You already thought that he was kind of stomping him in lane at the moment. It's going to get even worse because the Trinity Force, it's just such a powerful item.
It is.
It is expensive, but when you get there,
He's close, too. Wow.
Wow.
There it is. Redashiko got his flash up. It's done, too. And that pressure from the package, the timing there from Scarlet was really good. Because it actually, basically him teleporting to that bot lane and walking up to the fight means that, all right, they have package, we can't fight them, says BDS. And because they keep aggressive on the side lane, again, this gold lead isn't as big as it might look here on your screen. So that's why they just make the call. It's not worth it. It's only the second dragon since they got the first one, and they're okay to let this one go. Rift Herald does get a second charge off onto this turret as well, which means more value. At the moment here, being able to get Chico's flash is also a big deal. The thing is, though, BDSA constantly on the aggressive, constantly making the plays here, and unless Solary set up a good amount of defensive vision, they're going to continue to get caught out like we've been seeing before.
Someone has to answer the Gnar at some point. Solary have to, at some point, fold under the pressure and then find a response or an answer. Because if you continue letting Aggressivu just be uncontested in this side lane, there's never a point where, unless Aggressivu just, like, takes, like, 6 turret shots for free and doesn't... yeah, if he just straight up ends, Kyo can never hold him back or prevent him from being able to take multiple turrets.
No. The interesting thing, too, is when you compare the split push power, again, I got to go back to last game with Mirage and K-Corp. The thing is, K-Corp were smashing the 4v4. That's what made the split push not very valuable from the side of Mirage. This time around, it's BDSA who are winning out finding these plays while also having Aggressive who constantly pressure the side lane, which means that it's not going to be as easy to move to the side lane and deal with this Gnar who is pushed up so very far, because not only is he so powerful, you're going to either lose something in the process on the other side of the map because of your over commitment, or, I mean, if you don't commit enough, Gnar might actually outplay you and surprise you.
So when you're getting at Solary are going to lose something either way. It is just...
Yeah, unless a mistake comes through.
Yep. A little bit of doomsday coming for Solary. You have to answer one or the other. But it's also about coordination for the side of BDSA. You know, not to remove any agency from this team because they have done such a great job of coordinating between the two. Aggressivu pushing up forward when the rest of BDSA are also pushing aggressively on the cross-map plays. And now, despite the early game first blood from Solary, they did not get a chance to continue and accelerate on that advantage where Crownshot had no summoner spells. And he's now gone to the point of the game. Trinity Force completed.
Yeah.
Has tier 2 boots as well. The Tiamat as well. He's not quite at the point of the game where Zeri feels unstoppable to deal with, but he is getting close.
Yeah, once that Hydra comes through, it is going to be a big deal. This gold lead, again, almost entirely on Aggressivu, continuing to grow here on BDSA. And the thing is, too, that's why you see the rotation from Azza to that top side of the map, letting him continue to farm as he has a decent CS lead on Crownshot. The thing here is, too, you want to try and make sure that you aren't losing the Baron at the moment here, just because of the fact that Aggressivu has the teleport to work with, and the fact that he can join the map from the bottom lane where he is. Solary need to set up some vision around this Baron so that they can not necessarily try and contest for it, so that when they set up for the Dragon, which is coming up soon, they don't get surprised or anything by the fact that, oh, wait a minute, we're bot lane. Oh, no, they're on the Baron. Okay, what do we do? Well, nothing.
Absolutely nothing. I mean, you better hope for a miracle at that point, and by miracle you hope for BDSA to be a little too complacent on their positioning.
Yeah.
Maybe Crown Shot steps a little too close to the sun, and then you give him the burn to come back in this game. But for Solary, down 5,000 gold, a majority of that really just the bleeding that has not stopped from Aggressivu. Now, there's no turret protecting him, so a lot of Solary trying to punish the overextension with this Seed's control of the middle of the map. BDSA trying to route them off here. Dragon coming up in 30 seconds.
They have to get routed. The thing is, too, look at this. Keo is losing it out in the 1v1, losing so much of his HP. He's about to get Mega, too, so if they actually go and make a play on him, that could end up being really bad for Solary.
This Dragon just easily conceded to BDSA because Solary, you can't fight them at this point in the game, and you already called it out before. Aggressivu was in Mega form for a bit, and that was enough to threaten the chokehold of that point where Solary had to walk through. So now Solary, they're running out of options, and they're running out of ways to be proactive in this game. I mean, at this point, you are hoping to get Keo out of lane for just a small window, combine it with package timer. Joko will find out Ordote catching out Shiko and crew on the rotation, but Shiko with a beautiful sidestep dodges out on the solar flare, won't be affected at all, not having to burn flash or ghost this time around. And BDSA just dealing with what could have been a good pick opportunity from Solary.
It's hard getting on top of Ordote when he has that unbreakable will. So difficult to take down, and with the rest of BDSA ready to answer, you have to let that one go here. You hope that maybe you can take advantage of Ordote's ultimate being on cooldown, but for the moment, not a whole lot of options available to the side of Solar. As you said, they're running low on agency. Oh, no Crescent Guard means goodbye, Joko.
Yeah, ward hop from Shio. Dragon's Rage easily attainable. Steelback going with the Zenith Blade right on top of Shio.
Wait,
Rest
they're
of
low.
The members of BDSA have to be careful. Keo looking for the teleport flank. Explosive cask. Hits
Nice.
Crown Shots and Mega Death Rocket. Not going to be enough
such a
damage to
Crown
take him
Shot.
down. But
Oh my
Scarlet
God,
tries to go
Chico!
for it, but no one routes him off. Oh, man. BDSA turn around what could have been the opportunity for Solary to get back into the game. No one goes down.
No Summoner's Crown Shot lives with such a small amount of HP. Insane for him to be able to live in that scenario, because that is the big person that they were looking for. And the fact that Aza, during that bot lane play we didn't see, actually had to blow his flash so he doesn't get hit by Aggressivu's Gnar ultimate. And that means he isn't able to navigate this fight that we saw the way he may have wanted to. And that's a big deal, because it could have gone very differently had he had the flash available. You can see it. Joko walking up, he smites the red buff, but honestly, maybe not the play when you know your team isn't too close, and it's so easy to take him out. And watch Crown Shot here. Cleanse is blown. They want to turn because Aza is here and he's feeling strong. Even with the flash out, there isn't much to be done. But look at Chico. The damage over the wall. No flash for Aza means he can't survive this fight, and no Jinx means no win.
The Portuguese powerhouse and Chico finding the assassination onto the marksman, preventing what could have been. But wait a minute, we're back to live. Hold up.
Nice little handshake,
happen?
trade of 80 carries. This is how it is. Don't watch that.
Well, Solary do find, I don't know if Crown Shot had a shutdown that was compensated for it. It is still a, oh god. We're at the 10,000 gold lead point. Aggressivu, Flame Horizon onto Kyu.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, he's 5,000 gold up! He has half of the 10k gold lead! Oh my goodness.
He's literally, he's two champions. He's basically two champions right now. He is level 16. The health must be insane. I don't even think they should do this. I think this is not a good idea.
He's about to go Mega. He's still in Mini-Gnar form, which is
Look
what
at
Solary
that.
thinking.
Look
Oh
at
no,
look at that.
he is just dealing the damage. He has a Titanic Hydra on top of it. He says, "Hey yo, Crown
Hey,
Shot, you
yo.
got a cool build. You mind if you share the homework with me? I'll promise I won't make it look like I'm copying. I have a hole breaker as well. You can't build that." Aggressivu now in a 1v5.
Oh
Can he
my
find at least
God.
one kill? And you know what? For Solary, credit is due. They get the shutdown. They feed it into Asa, but that was 5 members dedicated to the top push. The rest of BDSA taking complete control of the bottom jungle.
It was a risk they felt they had to take just because of how much pressure Aggressivo was applying. And then, to be fair, they didn't end up losing too much. Just a little gold and a little XP. The reason that's because they don't have any more of their outer towers available, which is a positive in a weird way in that particular situation. So it means not a whole lot of trades were coming through. And Aza is crucially picking up that shutdown. So this Jinx, who despite Solary's deficit in this game, Aza is actually, he's got to be tied in gold with Crown Shot, or probably ahead with that shutdown picked up. He's getting close to that Lord Dominic's regards, and he's going to be a big deal as a result here. And I love this from Scarlet. He's splitting, taking the turret, getting some of these objective bounties, and he could teleport if they wanted to make a play for the package. It's looking like they won't. They just want to guarantee this tier 2 turret, and look who it is. Joko steal back. Oh my gosh, they want this?
Yes, they have to go for objective bounties at this point. They cannot contest the majority of members of BDSA. They'll go for the dive. However, Aggressivo says, if you're split up, you're not focusing me down, I'm just going to take you out one by one. And BDSA, they're on the collapse. The rest of Solary have to retreat. Scarlet getting taken out, and it's a beautiful Dragon's Rage from Shio. Catches out Joko, making sure that he does not escape with his life. And Solary now on the run. It's down to Kyo and Asa to defend the base.
That was an ambitious play from Solary, and it very well might cost them everything with how tanky people like Erdote and Aggressivo are with this bot lane coming through, with this mid lane on its way. At the very least, you're losing 2 inhibitors, and at most, BDSA are going to push for the end.
Aggressivo pushing on the bottom side as well. You already called out. Inhibitor mid will fall. Bottom inhibitor will fall. Nothing can be done from the side of Solary. They have to watch as their base now crumbles. There's only one lane left that they can be content in defending in the top side. But I imagine the BDSA, if you allow Aggressivo to push on the top side of the map once again, by the next time the dragon comes up again, the base will completely be in ruins.
And already, base is falling apart here. You got mid pushing automatically for the next 5 minutes. Bot pushing automatically for the next 5 minutes. With Baron in 1:30, this is a great position for BDSA to go ahead and take this and pretty much put the nail in the coffin in this game here. Solary gonna have to make a big play soon, and you can see it. They have Scarlet, who has the teleport available to him as he pushes out bot as much as he can and hopes to move to set up vision for his team. It's worth noting, Aggressivo, who hasn't shown on the wave just yet, doesn't have teleport. So if he does show on the wave, then Solary realized they're going to have an opening to make something happen. No package for Scarlet, but they might have enough.
Erdote might be burned. Have to burn flash here. Good catch from Solary. No flash on the cow means there's no engage opportunities, or at least as strong engage opportunities with the flash pulverizer or flash headbutt pulverize combo. Will relieve some safety to Asa and Scarlet, who, despite this game being very much in the control of BDSA, Scarlet and Asa still do a high amount of damage. They are 3-item marksmen at 30 minutes into the game. If they are left unchecked and BDSA cannot get through the front line, despite how weak it is in comparison to BDSA's front line, there's still technically a chance. It's not likely beat down.
No.
There is still, that is the one sliver of hope that you are wishing for as a Solary fan.
The saving grace is that you can see Solary are trying to do their best to play with Aggressivo in mind in that bottom side of the map. When they leave him alone there, they try and find a play, but they don't waste too much time because they know Aggressivo is strong enough that he could end the game pretty quickly if they give him enough time. Because they have 2 people there, they can go for this fight.
Crown Shot playing with fire. Lightning Crash already used to give him the extra attack speed, and he just surges right on over, doing the parkour treatment.
Joko splash.
Oh no, Steel back goes down thanks to just a burst fire over the wall. Erdote finds the headbutt, pulverizing shield with the Dragon's Rage, knocks it out to multiple people. And Aggressivo says, let me just end the game by myself, team. I don't need you guys. I'm wiping through Kyo. I'm diving him under 2 Nexus turrets, and I will be able to take him down with ease. It's a stopwatch from Kyo, but only to delay the inevitable, because PDSA are here to claim what's theirs, and that's a victory against Solary.